Hi everyone, Noah Polipsky here from Peaceful Golf, bringing you an exciting review from the old course at Bedford Springs. Hope everyone enjoys. Peace. This trip all started when I received an invite to an architectural summit at the Barefoot Golf Resort in South Carolina. With COVID ravaging the country, there was no way I was getting on a plane, so I rented a car and turned this into an all-out golf adventure. I had accumulated a bunch of free rounds from Golf Now and found a course called the Old Course at Bedford Springs. The course was a little out of the way, but the reviews were off the charts, and with the normal greens fees being well over $100 but costing me nothing due to my free round, I figured why not. The drive was around 4.5 hours from New York City in the middle of Nowheresville, Pennsylvania. All I was thinking about was how many great golf courses I was going to play on this trip. Harbor Town, Tobacco Road, the Ocean Course. Wait, did that sign just say golf or golf? I obviously had golf on the brain. Finding the course was a breeze, and the resort at Bedford Springs looked immaculate when I pulled in. Having never heard of this course, I was really excited to see if this might be a hidden gem. The clubhouse was modest, and the starter had his hands full being that it was Labor Day. My tee time was pushed back a few minutes, and I ended up being paired with 3 20-plus handicappers. Given that this course was built in the late 1800s, 1895 to be exact, I decided that walking was going to be my smartest move. Why? Well, these older courses were designed to be walked. Remember, there were no golf carts back then. Plus, with COVID on the mind and me tending to be a bit of a germaphobe, sharing a cart wasn't really an option for me. The course was originally designed in 1895 by Spencer Oldham, making it one of the earliest golf courses in America. Then in 1912, A.W. Tillinghast came in and redesigned the course into a 9-holer. By 1923, Donald Ross was called in to turn it back into an 18-hole design. The combination of these two legendary designers working on this one site meant some great holes were certainly in store for me. The current course has been restored in 2006 by Ron Force, who may just be the foremost authority on Donald Ross designs and restorations. As soon as I began playing, it felt as though I was stepping back in time to the golden age, when the natural lay of the land was paramount, and designers had to create a routing that connected each hole to the next, with no gaps in between. In other words, when you leave the green, your tee box should only be a few steps away. The course is filled with charm and challenge all along the way. I fell in love with the 4th hole called Volcano. This hole is a brute, and only the finest of golf shots will find the pad. Further along in my trip, I found a modern designer using the Volcano design on his course, but more on that later in my next review. Most of the old course lies in a floodplain, which leads to some pretty flat fairways. If I had any complaint, it would be the conditions of the course. Don't get me wrong, this might have been one of the lushest courses I've ever seen, but with fairways as flat as a board, it would have been a more challenging test of golf if the fairways played firm and fast. That way, the heavy rough and multiple sand traps could be more of a factor in navigating your way around the course. Remember, golf in the 1920s was fast and firm. That's how it was designed, to bring more strategy into the game. Shot shapes and ball control were an intricate part of the game at the turn of the century, a skill we have unfortunately lost with modern equipment. The greens here at the old course at Bedford Springs do make up for the lack of fairway firmness and challenge. No two greens are alike, and with speeds reaching 11 on the stimp the day I played, this place looks and plays more like a private club instead of a resort course. I was starting to be really impressed by this course I had never heard of. The back 9 starts with a hole called Gully, which only measures 124 yards, but rest assured that 124 yards is terrifying with danger all around it. This is a great way to start the back, and it's also the high point on the course, giving you a great view heading home from the 11th tee. course has 5 par 3s, and for me these 5 are a study in great design. By the time I reached the par 3 14th named Tiny Tim, I was in love with this place. Then this little hole with its chocolate drops left to the green put it over the top for me. At only 136 yards you would think it would be a breeze, but with water fronting the green and sand traps around 3/4 of the way, my little pull hook into the chocolate drops made me smile. A creative little up and down got a golf clap from my playing partners, and life felt pretty sweet. Pun intended. Many courses from the Golden Age suffer from a lack of quality holes throughout because routing was so difficult, leaving a few holes just to be connectors until you got to the better parts of the property. This is not the case here at Bedford Springs. There are no weak holes on the old course, just one great adventure after another. The final 3 holes start with a wonderful par 5 that requires some real strategy the closer you get to the hole. A sloping fairway is constantly trying to pull you to the right, so your approach will be blocked by the trees. It was great to see my playing partner Maureen make a nice 20-footer for par. The 17th is another standout par 3. I explained to my group that it was called a Redan and was named after a hole at the course North Berwick in Scotland, which I was lucky enough to have played a few years earlier. A Redan hole is designed so that when hit with a right to left ball shape, the ball lands on the front of the green and releases to the hole, leaving a birdie if played just right. And this is exactly what I proceeded to do, leaving my playing partners in awe. Yes, a proud moment on my part, which probably led to the 2 copies of my book being sold in the parking lot that afternoon. Shameless plug. The 18th is a beautiful finish to a course that has stood the test of time, and it's a wonderful tribute to some of the best designers of the game. I am grateful that Ron Forrest kept this spirit in his work, and I advise anyone looking for a hidden gem to make their way here as soon as possible. I was thoroughly exhausted after my round on this hot summer day, and I didn't feel great about my 76, but I certainly will be coming back to see if I can best that score. The resort at Bedford Springs became famous for its healing waters, and I can certainly say there is something magical about this place. After some nice pleasantries with my playing partners and a couple of signed books, I hopped in my car and headed to the town of Bedford for a quick bite at a local restaurant called Horn of Plenty. I ordered the pulled pork sandwich, tasted much better than it looked, with a big cup of joe and headed south. I had another round scheduled tomorrow, and this one wasn't going to be your grandfather's course. This one was going to be something totally different, so please subscribe to my channel so you can see this design and all the others on this epic East Coast adventure.